Welcome to the Romance Podcast, the new and improved Romance Podcast, because we are running on no sleep.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be. This is just gonna be seamless for sure.
A couple things I want to say before we get into today's episode is, one, if you're new to the podcast, we promise we don't only talk about newborn baby stuff. That is not the purpose of our podcast. But this podcast was launched by our company a week before we gave birth. So the reality is, our lives right now are this deep into newborn baby life.
It's kind of what our content is, because it's the only thing happening to us right now.
So this will be the last podcast that we really kind of dive into that.
Yes.
Because also our podcast is about relationships, and obviously we're married.
Yep.
And people that get married sometimes have babies.
It happens.
It happened to us. So it is part of the relationship romance umbrella.
And we like to be really honest. That's kind of our thing.
Yeah.
So we don't need to look perfect.
Yeah.
Obviously, based off the video component of this, I don't think I need to look perfect.
You look gorgeous. You're about a month after birth. What do they call it? Postpartum?
Yes.
About a month postpartum. And you look amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're supposed to be honest, though, on the podcast.
And if you want to vote on how Kenzie K looks, go over.
No, please don't. I get enough DMs as is.
I'm joking, but it's a good time to remind people that we have a video component to our podcast on YouTube. So if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, or wherever, you could also go to YouTube and see the video component. But, talking about being real and about reality, we have posted many pictures of our beautiful son, Marino, on all of our social channels. You probably have seen them. The videos, the cute pictures and videos. I mean, he's adorable. I can honestly say he's an adorable baby boy. But you know, like the meme where it's like Instagram versus reality?
Yes.
Okay,
so what are you trying to say?
That's kind of what we've been doing, because the pictures are perfect, the videos are adorable, but what you're not seeing are the 23 hours, the rest of the hours in the day of him screaming his head off.
At night. Day and night.
Us kind of going head to head, because it's creating a lot of tension.
It is creating a lot of tension because we have two different methods.
Yeah.
You're under the opinion that you can like yell at a baby, like you can.
Stop. I do not yell at the baby. Stop it.
But like discipline him as if he's already like in kindergarten or something. Which, here's the deal. If he's pulling this crap in kindergarten, I'm going to be all for it. I mean, like, you got to go tell him to knock it off.
Yeah.
He can't see or speak English. So when you're like, hey, that's enough, bro. You've been doing this all night. Like, you're talking to him angrily as if he can process, and it's only making it worse, because the way a baby can process is like energy. And when you come off not happy,
I'm giving bad energy.
You're giving bad energy, and you're giving me bad energy, because when you're in charge of them, we're doing this thing in shifts. Okay, this is how we are literally. You go 2 hours, I go 2 hours. You go 2 hours. Like, that's what we're doing.
Yep.
A lot here. Okay, and when it's finally my turn for a break, if you just when you're like angry in the next room, it's not peaceful for me. Like, when I do it, I'm giving him kisses and I'm rocking him. I'm like, it's okay, baby. It's okay.
Okay.
It's not stressful. You're creating stress for me.
Here's the difference. And anybody who has had kids before, or anybody navigating a newborn right now, here's the difference, right?
What?
So my son is breastfeeding, and only Kenzie can breastfeed. Clearly, right? That's how it works.
Which is so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate.
So Kenzie gets the very calm Marino, the very happy Marino, the very satisfied Marino. You get all that. What does Daddy get? Daddy gets diaper changes where he screams his freaking head off as if he's being tortured every single time. Daddy gets the times when he's awake but not feeding, and what does he want to do? He wants to feed, so he's screaming his freaking head off. Daddy's getting all the horrible shifts where mommy gets the calm, gets to eat. Oh, you're sad, your belly's full. You get that version. I get the other version.
Can I give you the other side of this?
Sure.
Because I hand you a happy baby, because I feed him.
Okay.
That's what I do. I feed him, which causes me, by the way, it's not a walk in the park. It's causing me extreme pain the entire time I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So it's taking away from the sweet, beautiful moment, because I cry sometimes while I'm doing it because it hurts so bad.
Yeah.
So it's not like a peaceful 45-minute experience.
Before you get to your point here, I gave you an analogy that I thought was genius. Is that you said that you're getting it's painful down there in the chestal area.
In my chestals.
In your chestal area, you are bleeding at times.
Yes.
And I said, babe, you got to fight through that because a guitar player, when he first picks up a guitar and he's starting to play, strings and everything, your fingers get really rough and you get callous. You finally build up calluses where then you can shred and you can
comparing my nipples to a guitar. By the way, you don't even know you've never done that with the guitar. So you're giving me this pep talk.
No, not true. You don't know me.
You never built up calluses to the point where your fingers were bleeding.
My mother is downstairs watching our son because we don't want to have a screaming baby in the podcast. You can ask her after. I took guitar lessons when I was in a band.
So I took guitar lessons too.
And you didn't build up calluses?
No, my fingers weren't bleeding.
Okay. Well, anyways, I do play guitar.
Your fingers are like super wussy.
Oh, my fingers are wussy. Okay, well, your nipples are wussy.
No, they're not. They're doing a lot. These are working nipples.
Anyway, so my point is the analogy, I know it's kind of laughable and not the same.
It was less laughable when you told me that.
But the mentality is the same, is that eventually you're going to build up...
have no feeling in my nipples.
Eventually, it's not going to be as painful because your body's used to it.
Well, I've been doing it for a month, and...
Yeah, no, not
like a
lot.
Better? No, and it's 8 to 12 times a day for a month.
How long do you think it takes to play guitar professionally?
I honestly, we made this podcast maybe a few episodes because we're gonna get a divorce, and it's not good. It's gonna be awful.
But real talk, it has caused a bit of stress.
It has caused stress. So my point is that every time the baby screams, guess who gets it? So you're me because he's hungry.
Okay,
so I always get a screaming baby that I have to calm down.
But you do calm him down.
Away. Then I calm him down and I pass him off. So you feel like you get him calm and then he ends up worked up. But I get him worked up and then he ends up calm. So whenever I'm done with my break, I walk in to madness. It's always chaos because he's ready for me.
It's different. Because the second he eats and feeds, he's going to become, because all he wants.
So here's also what our shifts have been. So because I have to breastfeed, I feed him at night around in the 9 o'clock zone, and I get about 2 to 3 hours of sleep, depending how fast he does and if he wakes up and stuff. And Roman stays with him till in the midnight to 1 o'clock zone. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes 1:40.
Yeah, sometimes 1:40. And then he comes upstairs, and the baby's screaming, and I gotta feed him. Okay. Then I take basically the whole night because I feed him, try to give him a bassinet. If he wakes up in 30 minutes, I pick him up, I rock him, put a bassinet. Now it's been an hour, I feed him again. So I do that throughout the night.
Right.
And then until you take Tristan to school, and then you take another shift so I can go to sleep for a few hours. So that's how we've been breaking it up.
And I've been insisting on a nap, multiple naps. I know that you are at your wit's end, and I know that you need sleep. So I have been give me a little credit.
Absolutely.
I've been very
the shifts have been really good.
Forward thinking of no, I got him. You go take a nap because you're about to break down.
Yeah, because I'm exhausted.
Yeah, right.
But after my long stretch at night, though, I'm dead. So
totally get it.
It's go time. But
it's go time.
My point is, during that night, he does cry a lot. It's just not your shift. Like last night, I took him out of the room for over 2 hours, changed his diaper, breastfed him, got him to calm down, then walked right in and put him in a bassinet just for him to wake up again in 30 minutes. So I'm doing the bassinet training.
The last thing I'll say about this is that he wants to eat, and you have what it takes to calm him down. I don't have that. So when he's going crazy, there's nothing I can do that in the back of my mind knows, this is going to be, I got it. Because nothing I have gets it. Like, he wants nothing to do with me but scream. He wants mommy.
And I've done every trick in the book, though. I'm trying so hard with the food. He's on gas drops. He's got some tummy issues. Described by his pediatrician.
Guys, listen, we have a very gassy baby. There's no doubt. I have heard things come out of him that takes me back to high school locker room, men.
I don't even know what's going on.
It's nuts.
It'll wake me up in the middle of the night.
My son, my 9.5-year-old son Tristan, he heard it for the first time, and he looked like he was so
how
shocked.
Does it come out of a small baby? I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
But that's one of the reasons he's having these fits. His tummy has issues. So we have gas drops prescribed by the pediatrician, which I went and did research on and asked our pediatrician if we could use them. I'm giving him warm baths. I'm giving him tummy rubs. I have an entire leg system, including figure eights and bicycles and stomach rubs in a certain way that's supposed to help that I do all night. He has a heating pad in his bassinet until he's about ready to go down, so it's a warm, toasty environment. I am doing effing everything I can.
yeah.
I do not know what else to do.
Early on, I recognized that we had a very difficult baby.
He's not.
Okay, my turn to talk. I recognized it early on, and Kenzie took it very personal and as if I was insulting her. And I was like, babe, listen, I love this kid. I do. He's half of me. I love Marino. But I'm also like a realist. He is a difficult baby. I have experience. I have nieces and nephews. I've been around babies. Yes, they all cry when when they get their diaper changed. But this kid does it to the nth degree, as if he's being tortured. Babies cry, but he cries way more. So I can just be real. He is a difficult baby. Hey, listen, when he's calm, when he's sleeping, he's a gorgeous baby. But he's a very difficult baby. And you took it personal, and it created kind of a rift with us. And I'm like, oh, so we can't be honest with each other here. Like, he's the perfect child?
You know what it is for me?
What?
Is that I think you're confusing it because, fine, like, you can have whatever. You can have experience, but, like, every baby's got things they don't like. Mm-hmm. So, for example, yes, he hates diaper changes, but he loves baths. Tons of babies scream bloody murder when they have a bath or something like that. He does it, and he sits there and chews on his finger.
He does initially, though.
Only transfer into bath.
Tell the whole story, Barry.
Only the transfer into bath. He doesn't like being cold, so he
Okay.
doesn't like diaper changes.
Yeah.
He doesn't like when you take his ones, you have to put him in the bath.
Yeah.
He doesn't like being cold.
Right.
Okay, I don't like being cold either. I get it.
No, I get
Vibes.
it.
Okay.
He is your son.
Shut up.
He doesn't like
He's
being
also
cold.
your son, and you keep forgetting
I'm
that.
saying in respect to the cold. Relax. See, she's so defensive about this.
Because you like dog him, and he's
don't
your
dog
son.
him.
You do. You always got like. Whenever he does something good, like he's actually slept in really long chunks at night.
He has slept pretty good, yeah.
So it's like, oh my God, sometimes he slept for over 4 hours in a row at night. And
With me, like on me, a lot of times that happens.
Right. Or in the Dakatat, he's done really good, like in like our bassinet, like all these things. So he'll sleep for these really long chunks. And I'll be like, oh my God, he slept for 4 or 5 hours. And you're like, yeah, what an angel. Like, you just, like, you can't wait to
say it in that tone.
Like, to dunk on him.
No.
Or it's like, it's your son.
I'm being for real. I go, oh, he's an angel. Like,
No, you're not being for real. 'Cause
I
you don't,
am.
and that's when I get mad, because it's like, how can you not celebrate the wins? There's some hard moments going on, but God forbid we can't be excited when he's doing good.
I just feel like, here's the deal. When I first started saying he was difficult, you were mad and there was some tension between me and you. I feel like the past couple days, though, you're starting to get on board and you're starting to
Shut
agree that he's a little difficult.
That's
True or
not true.
false?
I think he's had some bad days, and I think he's a good baby with some bad days. Babies have bad days.
Yeah, he's had a few.
No, you're
And
mean.
Again, we love him.
Newborns are hard. No one's like, oh my God, the newborn stage was the easiest time. Like, everyone's like, are you okay? It's really hard with a newborn. Every single person saying that. So it's like, is it difficult? Yes, but I don't think it's because of him. I think it's because it's difficult to have a newborn. That's why I keep saying that to you. Like, you're pinning all of this on him. Like, he's supposed to be walking around and helping with dishes. Like, it's weird.
The only time I ever get really, really frustrated is,
all the time.
Is all the time. No, right after he's been fed, and after I know for a fact that I've changed his diaper and it's clean, and he's still screaming bloody murder. At that point, I'm like, bro, there's no other option here. What can possibly be wrong?
See, and that's what you don't understand is that things are wrong. Like, I think he has some big old tummy issues. So his tummy hurts, or like, you don't know. He's actually like, he's growing really fast. He's actually already blown through like newborn onesies and all sorts of stuff. They have growing pains.
He's blown those onesies a couple different ways too, by the way.
But he's also like, he's growing a lot. So just have a growing pain. It's the only way he can talk to you. Like, Tristan, our almost 10-year-old, walks in the room after baseball and is like, my legs, I do wall sits, my legs. And it's like, Marino can't do that. So we're just like,
He can't do wall sits. You're right. He can't do it.
See, and that's it. By the way, this is what you do. You want him to be as competent as a 10-year-old.
No, I don't.
Yes,
Stop it.
you
It's not
do.
true.
You're like, you want to like turn the shower on so he just goes and does it.
If there was a genie in a bottle right now, I would say, here's all I want. Here's all that I want. He is a great eater. He's a great sleeper. What I want is him to be awake and calm. that we haven't really experienced that for the most part. If he could be awake and calm, I will take back the difficult baby title and I will say, oh man, he's perfect, okay? But we haven't really experienced the calm, awake Marino yet. And that's why I'm kind of saying Instagram versus reality, because the pictures we post, you guys all comment. You guys, he's beautiful, and you guys comment on that. The video we post of him singing YMCA, it's adorable. You guys all comment on that.
He was calm and awake.
He was, yeah.
in that video.
But guys, Instagram versus reality, what you see on social media is not always the case all the time. And with us, we have been like pulling our hair out, trying to figure out how to calm him down at times. The whole experience has been more challenging than I thought it was going to be. How about for you?
It's been more challenging than I expected.
Yeah.
I think, you know what I think I underestimated? I think that I'm actually very good at handling it. You are too, but I'm saying like I feel confident in how I handle it. And never once have I actually gotten mad at him. Like some people get really tense, like what's wrong with this baby? It breaks my heart when he cries. I feel more like, oh, I'm failing. I don't know how to fix it for him. Those are the feelings I have. I think I'm really good at handling it. What I underestimated was handling one of the most difficult stages of your life while trying to heal from something so difficult. Yeah. Well, breastfeeding, which is taking so much of my energy, the combination is harder than I anticipated because I'm like, oh, I'm already in pain from giving birth, and now I'm also in pain from breastfeeding, the one part of my body that didn't hurt. Yeah. And so I feel like I'm not getting a break. Like even when it's your turn, it's like my body's in pain, or I have to pump, or I have to like. The combination is much harder that's what I underestimated. I knew I'd be waking up. I knew I'd be tired. Yeah. I didn't imagine the pain I'd be in while doing it.
Before we move on here, everybody wants to know, I got a bunch of DMs. They want to know, does Kenzie K want to have another child?
Shut up. You want to know.
No. I got a bunch of DMs about it. Like a Q&A here. So does Kenzie want to have another child?
Maybe. I would put it at a 50-50. It's a 50-50.
Okay.
We're going to see. We promised each other we wouldn't talk about having another kid until 1 year of life with this one.
1 year, right.
And then we'd readdress, because you can't ask somebody currently running a marathon on their 15th mile if they want to do this again in a year. Like, right. I need to just focus on this and then figure that out later.
Right, for sure. Do you want to ask me?
No. You're so mean. See this is what I'm talking about. He just can't wait to be mean.
No, I love our family of 4. I think it's perfect. I really do.
There's no girls.
There's you. You're more woman than we could ever imagine.
You're the worst. You're the worst.
All right, so moving along. Speaking of the worst, wow, in Texas, there was a woman that confronted a mom with a baby in a bar, and we have some audio. Check this out real fast. I mean, so what do you think of that? I mean, again, in Texas, a mom brings her baby, her newborn baby, or maybe not, but like months old, to a bar, and she's crying hysterically, and then a drunk patron, a woman, really gets in her face and kind of like says, get the F out of here. What are you doing?
So what I was trying to figure out, so when I'm watching this video, I'm trying to look around, because there's a big difference between being at a bar or being at a restaurant with a bar. Yeah. Okay, like we go to Moretti's, there's a bar in it, but it's an Italian restaurant. So I was looking around because it definitely didn't look like a club environment by any means. And the girl yelling at her was like older.
It seemed like a bar, like not a club. Did it? Yeah, because it wasn't like a Chili's. Yeah. It was like a bar. I mean, and you're right about Moretti's. If you're local here in this podcast, there's tons of Moretti's, but there's like a bar area, but there's also a restaurant. We always sit in the restaurant area. Right. We don't hang out at the bar. So this to me did look like a bar. Now, it gets a little confusing because I feel like in this respect, they could both be kind of right. You know, it's like, I know y'all want to pick sides, but like, I feel like you probably shouldn't bring a baby to a bar. I do believe that. Like, I would never bring Marino to a bar. That being said, hold on a second. That being said,
wait a minute.
Hold on a second.
I was just about to correct you.
In real time, I'm going to correct myself because we have hopes and dreams of bringing Marino to opening day for the Cubs.
As long as the weather's good, I don't want to get roasted by parents in the comments. If it's one of we've had a very warm winter. Yeah. So if it's a good day.
If the weather I say is like, 40 and above, maybe?
Yeah, like 40 and sunny. If it's like 40 and rainy, of course
hopefully it's like 70, but like we'll see, right? Yeah. So if the weather is decent, we plan on bringing Marino to opening day at Wrigley Field. Woo! Now, in case you don't know, I'm an investor of Old Crow Smokehouse in Wrigleyville, which, yes, is a bar. A lot of people are going to want to see the baby. You know what I'm saying? Like
I don't think we're bringing him to Old Crow on opening day.
I can see myself wearing a baby Bjorn or whatever they call him now, walking into Old Crow and high five, yeah, check out my son, what up?
I mean, sometimes I feel uncomfortable at that bar, like, cause it's so aggressive. I don't think that's a good idea.
Are you trashing our bar? What is wrong with you?
No, but it's a party environment.
Yeah, but it's like,
I don't know if are they gonna card him? Like, does that happen?
I got connections. But okay,
I'm just saying.
So that was kind of an aside, but I really don't think under normal circumstances of non-opening days that you should not bring your baby to a bar.
Right. Now, I will say how the woman approached it was really inappropriate.
That's the point,
you're
right.
drunk and you're getting in a girl's face who's holding a baby.
Yeah.
And unless you see like abuse of some kind, like there was that woman who was confronted recently at a Walmart because it was freezing and the baby was only in a diaper.
Yeah.
So they confronted her because it was more of an abuse thing. But I don't think you should be getting in someone's face and cursing them that while they're holding a baby. That's probably why the baby was screaming.
Yeah.
Because this girl's yelling at her. It was just a toxic environment.
I think
which is why I wouldn't want to bring a baby there, because drunk people are gonna get in your face and say something.
Yeah, not our face. We're good. But I think that the woman, the drunk woman, I don't think she was wrong for saying you shouldn't have a baby in a bar. She was drunk, and the way she did it was wrong.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying on this end, I don't think that there's really a right and wrong. I don't think babies should be in the bars. But then again,
babies shouldn't be in the bars. Hot take.
Yeah, for real. But then again, I will say, as new parents with a newborn, you don't also want to be confined to your house in like a prison, right? You got to get outside. You take Marino for walks more times than not, right?
Yep.
We've taken him to restaurants. We've taken him out. So I understand wanting to get out as a new mom with a baby.
And hoping that it gets them used to being out too.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep Marino in the house 24/7 because it is easier. There's times that I'm like, I don't want to pack a bag and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I want him to get used to going places and hearing the sounds and being out because, 6 months down the road, if he's used to a perfect quiet environment all the time, that's when then you can't, right?
So yay for this new mom bringing out her baby, but no for bringing him to a bar. Like bring him to a restaurant.
A for efforts.
Bring him to a shopping mall. Like, you can bring him out. Like, listen,
family-friendly restaurant would have been a better choice.
Take him to Chili's. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, take Olive Garden when you hear your family.
Well, we just took Marino to a restaurant.
Well, yeah, so that's where I was going is that, before you have kids, you hate all screaming kids on airplanes.
Yep.
You hate all screaming kids in restaurants. You hate them,
hate them.
Well, screaming kids, the screaming ones in public. But when you are a parent and you want to bring out your newborn baby or a young baby and they start screaming, it's a different feeling. Now, Kenzie loves sushi.
Fear.
Yeah, Kenzie loves sushi. Pregnant women cannot have sushi. So for 9 months, close to 9 months, you did not have sushi. So now that you can, I thought, okay, I'm going to surprise her for a date night on Saturday and I'm going to take her to a sushi place, right?
Yes.
So more of a casual sushi place so we could bring the baby. So I surprised you. Everything was all good. Marino was in the car seat. He was chill in the car. You went in to get a table first, said thumbs up, we're ready to go. I bring Marino inside. For a good 4 months. For a good 4 minutes, he was good. For 4 minutes, I was like,
this is going to be the best.
Give me that sushi list. Let's get some miso soups. Let's get some green teas. And the 5th minute hit, and he turned into a monster.
He did not turn. He just started crying.
And I was like, okay, no problem. So I know that this is Kenzie's surprise date night. So I took the infant carrier and I stood up at our table and I put my hand on the table and I rocked the infant carrier back and forth because that settles him down sometimes. So I was like, okay, at least I can somewhat muffle the screams by him kind of rocking.
And he stopped. I want to clarify. We did not keep a screaming baby. At the first, we responded and jumped.
I was on it.
Yes.
So and I gotta tell you, I work out, I'm in decent shape and stuff, but after you do that for a while,
that thing's
your
heavy as hell.
arm hurts, so I got to switch arms and I'm a lefty, not a righty. It's anyway, so I'm doing this for a while because I wanted Kenzie to have her sushi, right? And so all my sushi came in front of me and literally I have a full, 3 or 4 plates of sushi that I've not touched yet, right?
Right.
And then tell him what the waiter came up and said.
Okay, so our waiter kept checking on us. He's rocking the baby. I'm the only one eating because then we're gonna do this thing in shifts, right? So I when I was done, I knew I was gonna grab the baby so he could eat.
Yeah.
And I was hoping the baby would just fall asleep during his shift.
Of
but
course.
anyways,
he did not.
He did not. So the waiter keeps walking past, you guys need anything else? And we're like, no, just leave us alone.
Right.
And then finally he comes back. Roman's still sitting there swinging the baby. I'm eating and none of his food's been touched. And he goes, so you guys ready? Would you like a to-go box or something?
I'm like, no, dude, I haven't even started.
You're like, no, we're not even close to being ready at all.
I was like, I mean, to his defense, he had to be in high school or maybe early 20s.
And he was totally trying to leave for the night.
Yeah, he
then
was.
He gave us a, so he's like, you guys done? Would you like
Yeah.
a box? And all of your food's sitting there
I haven't
untouched.
even-
I literally spit my drink out because it was like, you could tell I wanted us to leave so bad.
And I was like, hey, man, like, I still have to eat my entire meal. So
Yeah,
no, we're not.
No, we're not done.
We're not done yet.
Yeah, not done.
But honestly, so my point is as parents then of the screaming child, we were doing everything to make sure that other patrons in the restaurant didn't have a bad experience.
Right, like I walked to the front vestibule to take him out because I'm like, okay, he needs to come out of this car seat.
I took him outside for a while because
Yeah.
I was not gonna I'm not gonna be that guy. We're not those parents.
Yeah, we don't just leave him screaming like, oh, let him work through it for a second while people are eating. No.
Yeah, he can work through it at home 24 hours a day. So
Shut up.
you had kind of a mom shaming moment at the hospital.
Okay, so I was so pissed. Listen.
You don't want to piss off Kenzie
we had
Gay.
to go to downtown Chicago to do like some like the tests for like newborn screenings and things like that. So after we gave birth, so we're downtown, we're doing that, and we got dropped. Me and Marino got dropped off at the door
by Roman.
by husband, and he went and parked the car. So I don't know. We were outside for 4-ish seconds.
Actually, I got out of the car. I brought the infant carrier literally from the car. I opened the door, put both you guys in the hospital, and then I went back into the car. So you weren't even really outside at all.
Right. And so he's in his car seat with the hood covering him, his onesie on with mittens and booties and a blanket.
Yeah.
So this is actually interesting. When I gave birth at the hospital, okay, they made it very clear that there's a brand new rule. It was one of the new health recommendations that babies actually shouldn't just be in hats at a house. So you know how like all those baby outfits come with little hats and stuff? They think that too many babies are overheating and a baby only needs one extra layer. So if he's in a onesie and you're already putting him in a blanket, you don't need to be putting a hat on him. It's an easy way to overheat.
Okay.
So at the hospital, they actually kept taking hats off. They were like, you don't want to be doing this unless he's like literally outside and cold.
And for the record, suburban hospital is where we gave birth, and now we're at a city hospital. So these are two separate hospitals.
Yes. So I didn't put a hat on him because he wasn't outside. He had a blanket on, and then he was covered. There was no wind. We weren't walking outside, so I didn't do a hat. And by the way, the nurse gave me the scariest, but very, I mean, this statement is influential. She goes, listen, a cold baby cries, a hot baby dies.
Wow.
Is what the nurse said to me. So now I'm like terrified about hats,
Say it
by
again?
the way. A cold baby cries, a hot baby dies.
Wow.
And so it scared me. Now I'm very like conscious of the overheating. I'm constantly monitoring. So I'm like, I don't want to throw a hat on him. He has a blanket. He has a onesie. It's warm in the hospital. I'm not going to do it. Okay.
Right.
So we're sitting there and there's this old hag of an old woman. And listen, the hospital we were in the general waiting room, not the kids area yet. I was waiting for my husband to come back in because it's a huge hospital in downtown to walk to the area. So I really had us like in a corner because every person that came in looked like they had a severe, they were going through something.
The plague. It was really
weird.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was not. It was really aggressive, actually. I'm like, no one looks healthy at all. And I've at this point, the baby was 8 days old.
Yeah.
So I'm really, and you can't put a face mask on him or anything. It wouldn't stay out. So I'm trying to like be in the corner, be away from stuff. And I see this old woman sitting in a chair. And she's pretty far away. It's not like she's next to us by any means. And I keep seeing her looking down. I figured she just wanted to see the little baby. Like a lot of people do that. So I see her looking down, looking at me, looking down. And I've kind of my back half to her. I'm not paying attention. And finally she goes, excuse me. And I'm like, oh God, I don't want her to be talking to me. And I turn around and I go, yeah. And I thought she was going to be like, is it a boy or a girl? Or how old? Or like one of those questions. She goes, why won't you put a hat on that baby? What kind of mother are you?
Wow.
That's what she says to me.
That's crazy.
I wanted to punch this old woman in the face. I've never felt like that. I don't care what she's going through in life, but I just, because it was so ignorant, because I just got told to not do that by the hospital. You have no idea. Right. He's perfectly content. It wasn't like he was crying and she's like, oh, something must be wrong.
Yeah, he was actually silent at this point.
Yeah, he was actually very happy because he is a happy baby.
Well,
so,
you had fed him before we got there.
Shut up. So he was in a great mood. And I got feisty also.
Oh, yeah. What'd you say?
I was very
What'd you
angry.
say? What'd you say?
She had her face mask. Everyone was supposed to have a face mask on.
Yeah.
Okay. I had mine on. Okay. Yeah. And she had her face mask pulled below her chin. And I said, how about you pull your face mask up because you look like you have the plague? And she said nothing else to me after that.
She walked away and cried her eyes out.
Well, good. Yeah. Because like she's talking about my baby. Yeah. And I'm like, what kind of mother am I? All I've done my entire being right now, I've done not a thing for myself. Because, by the way, during my breaks, I need a pump, and I'm storing milk, and I'm constantly feeding them, and I'm rocking them, and I'm giving them baths, and I'm doing that. My entire body, literally, and mind and time is only gone to keeping this human alive.
Right.
So I wanted to kill the woman who said that to me.
You know, I recently, because I have a lot of time with a baby that's sleeping and everything.
Yeah.
I recently watched the rest of Matt Rife's comedy special. Like comedian, good-looking dude, young guy. You know,
the TikTok
guy. Yeah. So he has a Netflix special. I watched it. It's pretty good. He tries to really offend people. Like he tries his best to go there. I don't mind that kind of stuff. So I'm watching it. One thing he said that I loved. He goes, "Listen, I am a nice guy. I truly don't want to cause anybody pain. I never want to make anybody unhappy. I never want to make fun of anybody, nothing. But you come at me, I'm going to come back harder, and my only goal in life at that point will be to make you cry and break you down." And that's kind of what you're like.
That's your favorite saying.
Because it's kind of what you're like. Like,
Yeah.
you're a really nice person, but like, your mom said this before too, is like, you are very slick with the tongue. Like, you really come back hard with like some zingers. And that woman found out on that Friday afternoon in downtown Chicago.
Yeah, I am like that. I possess that. Because I actually love people, and I have a lot of really close relationships with people, and people will meet me and be like, "Oh my God, you are kind. You're like."
Yeah.
I love all kinds of people. I find people fascinating.
Yeah.
I like when they're different from me. I don't need people to view things the same. But if you're gonna be a bitch, just know I'm a bigger bitch. Like,
She can be.
flat out. This is not something you want to do,
Right.
and and you have to do it first. I am never,
Right.
but yeah, it's gonna be the last time you do it.
Yeah.
For
Well,
real.
We found that out because that woman walked back with her tail between her legs and was crying
God.
hysterically.
I was pissed off.
So you said yourself that you find people fascinating.
Yeah.
This is fascinating. Actually, a couple things we're talking about right now is that we have breaking news. We have officially changed the name of this last segment that we do.
So something I came up
For
with.
good. We've changed it for good. We took a little poll, and we will circle back with what Kenzie originally wanted to call this segment, Famously in Love.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought it was better.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It grew on me. At first, I didn't think it was catchy, but I think our celebrity
Such a hater.
our celebrity spotlight was.
Maybe
I
the
think,
baby will grow on you too. Maybe like in a
I'm
few
hoping.
weeks.
I'm
You're
really
like,
hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll check it back in 2 months. So this segment right here, Famously in Love, it's gonna be kind of like celebrities in the news, but from a
But
relationship.
relationship based.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
So is this fascinating? Neo, the R&B singer Neo, I'm so sick of love songs. Like, really,
I love him.
he is awesome.
I love his music, I should say, because I don't know him personally.
Back in my B96 days, I interviewed him many times, and he was actually a really cool guy. Like, really,
Yeah?
he was awesome. He embraced dance music early on because he had that song Closer. That
Yes.
was before, like, house music was really mainstream, at least this time around, and he kind of really embraced that. I love Neo. He's awesome.
I actually interviewed him too.
Did you?
Yeah, when I was in Tampa, and he was so sweet because
Yeah.
I fell in love with him when I watched his True Hollywood Story or whatever, and he goes,
Oh.
"Oh my God, I haven't thought about that in a really long time."
I never saw that, actually.
It was really good. Yeah,
One of my
his backstory.
favorite songs of all time is So Sick. I think that is like the perfect breakup song of all time. I really believe that.
I'm a good. My favorite is "Go On, Girl." Like,
Go On, Girl. Yeah,
I love that one.
Yeah. I mean, he wrote
be
Beyonce.
fine.
He wrote Beyonce's
Irreplaceable.
Irreplaceable. I mean, he's one of the best songwriters of our generation.
Yes.
One of the best R&B singers we've ever had. I mean, he's really talented, and it was a very cool guy to both of us individually. But Neo has recently been divorced. There were a lot of cheating rumors about him in his past and everything. Listen, I don't judge people. Like, that's what he wants to do. Whatever.
He
right?
hasn't really been a saint of a husband.
Allegedly.
Word on the block.
Yeah, allegedly. So recently, he's been photographed and he's been posted by girls of him being on vacation with not one but 2 women, and very much seeming like he's in a relationship with 2 women.
Like, yeah.
And I want to get your take on this because they're not hurting anybody, they're not breaking any rules, they're not doing anything illegal. But Neo, if it's true, dating 2 women at the same time and them all hanging out together, how do you feel about that?
Okay, so my thing is, I hate cheating.
Not a big fan. No.
I am like, I know that no one likes it,
Yeah.
but it to my core, it's the thing that bothers me the most. That's why Faithfully is actually our wedding song, and like our song as a couple.
By
because
Journey.
Faithfulness is the number one thing on my list. So like, what are you looking for in a guy? I was like, somebody faithful, because I had been cheated on a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the foundation of being able to trust somebody. And like, I wanted somebody who could lead with a mindset of like, in this way, me first, right? Like it says that to be me first in every aspect, but me first and like I will not do that because I care about my wife or my significant other, right? And that was so important to me that how could you not put somebody you love above a literal stranger or like just some like, oh, that would be fun. That just pisses me off. It's just very selfish to me.
Yeah.
So I'm very passionate about that. That's my number one. That's my deal breaker, all those things. It's been said, I haven't been there, I didn't date him, that he's cheated a lot. So if what he needed this whole time was a poly relationship or an open relationship or whatever they decide to call this, I think it's fine. I think it's whatever works for you, I'm a fan of. So a lot of people get really controversial when people say certain things are deal breakers for them. And I don't think you should, because there is somebody for everybody. It's when you try to force someone to follow those deal breakers. So if you have something weird, say you're like, I never want to date a girl that wears red. And somebody could be like, you're controlling, you're psycho. There's probably a girl out there who hates the color red and you're perfect together. It's about not being forceful. It's about finding the actual missing puzzle piece, right? In my opinion. So if this really works for them, and these girls are super happy and maybe they don't like, maybe some girls are like not into the clingy thing. They don't want to spend as much time with somebody, or they also like
that's
girls.
That's not you, by the
so,
way.
Nope.
Like, you
I
love
like a lot of time. Hello.
You like clingy. You do.
Yes, that's my thing, and I know that this would not be for me. Okay.
Right.
So if this is like truly checking everyone's boxes, and it helps him actually not be a cheater because he's getting something different, then I think it's really good. I do think the hardest part of that would be he's not some single guy. He has multiple children.
Right.
And that's where it gets a little tricky, is explaining this to them. You know, like, what do you have, 2 stepmoms now?
Yeah.
Or like, because it's kind of a kinky thing in my mind. So it's like now you're explaining it to children, kind of a kinky thing a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
But I'm sure people who've been in these relationships have the right way to go about it. So I am not against it. I find it fascinating because tell me, honey, my question is to you.
Oh man, on the spot.
Yeah, could you imagine also, think about our relationship right now.
I love
Could
it.
you imagine if you were also in a relationship with somebody else?
No, because because you're a lot of work. And I mean, there isn't enough hours in the day to give somebody else attention. Oh. The same way that I
That's
give
why that's why I aim to be a lot of work.
Yeah, no, is that
I don't
why?
want you to have time on your hands.
Yeah, no, that's
But could you? I mean, honestly, think about that. Think of everything we do in our relationship, and think about having to times 2 on that.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm tired. I want to go take a nap thinking about it right now. Cause
Shut up.
That's a lot. You know, I'm with you on this. I feel like as long as nobody is lying to the other person, as long as you're upfront about it, if it works for Neo and it works for these 2 ladies, then I mean, they're not hurting anybody. It's fine, you know.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like I know some other artists in the music world that have done this.
Yep.
I'm not going to say names, but I if it works for them and it works for you, more power to you, you know. I do got to say, Neo has not put a comment out about this specifically, but he was photographed last summer with 2 girls holding hands and everything, kind of seeming like he was dating 2 girls.
Right.
And his Instagram story, he responded to that by saying, and I quote, "I just need the whole world to understand this. Your opinions of me and my personal life don't mean anything to me. My kids love me. My women love me. Boom. My future is bright as F. I don't even have time to concern myself with what y'all think. I feel like the father and the nutty professor. You really think I'd be listening to you?
But I won't be listening to you.
But I won't be listening to you." He has some slangs in there that I was
honey,
trying. I own.
I won't be listening.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, he forgot the apostrophe and
No, and it's a slang. He didn't forget it.
So Neo does not give a F about what you think, about what we think. And again, I'm fine with it. Like it's his life. You only get one life, man. You only get one life in this crazy world. So why not be happy all the way to the end?
Well, and my thing is just find what you're looking for. So instead of being a cheater, find somebody who wants to be in an open relationship.
Let me ask you a question though.
Good.
So here's what I think when I think of this. It's like, so Neo, I'm assuming, met one girl first. Let's say her name was Lisa. Okay, he met Lisa first. Now at some point, how does he talk to Lisa about, hey, I met Marianne over the weekend. I don't know where these names are coming from, but I met Marianne over the weekend.
What year
I know,
is
sorry.
this open relationship?
I don't know. But anyways.
Gertrude is popping it on.
I met Bertha about a month ago. And all right, so anyways, so Lisa, hey Lisa, I love you, but I met this really, really hot chick, Marianne, over the weekend. And like, I'm thinking we should all like date together. Like, how do you talk about that?
Can I tell you something right now?
Sure.
because I kind of have an answer for this based off an experience.
Great. I can't wait to confess the world.
No. It's not bad. Okay. So I don't know if you know the comedian D. Ray Davis. You've ever heard of him?
I know you hate him.
Yes, I do hate him. Because he was super rude to me. But at first, he was nice to me.
Okay.
So when I worked in Tampa, we interviewed him on the radio, and then we all went to his comedy show. We're very supportive. And at that time, that's when in Tampa, kind of like how you were at B96, we'd host a lot of clubs for that. So after the thing, I was like, hey, if you guys want to come out, he has 2 girlfriends, by the way. And they're like all in a relationship. So it's not like, oh, he has 2 girlfriends and they don't talk. They're like also dating. Wow. So they're a couple and then they're a couple, then they're a couple. So and they were fine with it, and they were super sweet girls. I had a blast with them when they were out. Like, they were awesome. Cool. So they wanted to, I was like, oh, if you guys want to go to a club, I can get you a section. Let me know. No big deal. So I always did that, like how you always did that for artists when they were here, right? So they were really nice to me. Everything was fine. And then, whenever D-Ray would come into town, he'd be like, hey, can you get us a section tonight? Or what? Like, it would be that type of thing. Right. And then one time he came into town. And I was like, hey, let me know if you guys, like you and the girls, like need anything. Like, they're awesome. Like, I even at that time, I was like, if you want passes to Busch Garden, because it's one of our clients, like, just let me know. I got you guys. And he was like, no, I'm good. And sent his hotel link. And I was like, I sent like a question mark, and I'm like, oh, sorry. Like, do you need something? Like, further, or like, what do you want? Like, do you send a car there? Like, what do you want to do? And he was like, no, just come over. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, it's not what I mean. But again, if you guys need anything tonight, like you and the girls. He's like, I'm telling you,
here's what I need.
Yeah. And he got then he was like a jerk in the text after that. He like cursed me out and did all this stuff. So I was like, okay, sorry. Like, I don't know why you're cursing at me just because I don't want to come over. Like, I've never.
And that's why he will never be ever be a guest in the Romance Podcast.
He will not be. But it was interesting because I feel like I didn't realize that just by being around them, I'm sure he asked the girls like, oh, are you cool with her? Yeah. Like, they kind of like. They like filter you in casually like that. Like, we all hang out or you all do this. And then it's like if everyone got along. So, because he always said that his girls absolutely had to be okay. It wouldn't be like, well, too bad. I think Marianne's
very, very nice of him.
Yeah, no, he's very kind.
Very thoughtful.
But it was interesting to be like almost caught up in that moment of like,
man.
I do not want to be a third girlfriend. I am not poly. I'm not an open relationship girl. Yeah. But do your thing. I'm happy for you guys.
Well, 2 things you're going to know about next week's episode of the Romance Podcast. 1, what's his name?
D-Ray Davis.
D-Ray Davis will not be the guest on our episode.
No, he's not a fan of me. He probably doesn't remember who I am because he probably does that every week, but still.
And 2, we promise there will be no more talk of newborn baby stuff because we're getting back to like relationships and like the after baby part of it, right?
I hope we actually are too. Like, or do you think we'll be normal next week?
You know what? You got to tune in to find out because one more thing I know is you cannot spell romance without Roman.
Oh my gosh.
I heard the baby crying. I'm joking.
Scared me.